3 years ago, getting a new truck meant a deposit, a wait list, and a dealer who wouldn't budge a dollar off sticker. Some people were flipping their reservations for a profit before the truck even arrived. Fast forward to today, and the script has completely flipped. A few of those exact same trucks are now sitting unsold for the better part of a year, with dealers practically begging buyers to take them off their hands. The trucks that were impossible to get are suddenly impossible to move. And today we're counting down 10 brand new trucks nobody wants in 2026, ranked by market day supply from CarEdge's recent monthly data, which measures exactly how long it would take to clear the current inventory at the rate these are actually selling. Higher number, bigger disaster. Quick heads up before we get into this. These supply numbers move month to month, so treat them as a snapshot of where the market sits right now, not a permanent scoreboard. We're going from number 10 all the way down to number 1, and that top spot is a genuine bloodbath. If you're shopping, by the way, these are also the trucks where you've got the most leverage to negotiate. Let's get into it. Number 10, Honda Ridgeline. Kicking off at number 10 is the Honda Ridgeline, sitting at 140 days of market day supply, with over 11,500 units on lots and an average selling price right around $45,300. The Ridgeline is Honda's only pickup, and it's a quietly capable truck that does almost everything well, but the market is making it very clear what it wants from a mid-size pickup, and the Ridgeline isn't it. Here's the core problem: it's a unibody truck, built on a crossover platform, while every serious competitor in the segment is body-on-frame. To a lot of truck buyers, that disqualifies it before they even open the door. The Ridgeline rides smoother than its rivals, the in-bed trunk is genuinely useful, and the build quality is classic Honda, which means it'll outlast most of what's parked next to it. But the Tacoma, the Colorado, the Canyon, and the Ranger all bring more of what the segment calls truck DNA for similar money. The Ridgeline ends up appealing to a narrow buyer, somebody who wants Honda reliability and a car-like ride more than they want classic truck character. That buyer pool just isn't big enough to keep this thing moving off the lots fast, and the data is showing it. Number 9, Nissan Frontier. At number 9, the Nissan Frontier at 156 days of supply, over 21,500 sitting at an average price of about $39,950. And this one stings because the Frontier deserves better. Nissan finally gave it a proper redesign a few years back, and on paper it does a lot right. A strong 3.8-liter V6, real off-road chops in the Pro 4X trim, a genuinely tough body-on-frame chassis, and pricing that comes in well under the Tacoma. So why is it sitting? Two reasons. First, the Tacoma is just dominant in this segment. It's the fastest-selling truck in America for a reason, and shoppers keep walking past everything else to get to it. Second, Nissan as a whole has been struggling with brand momentum. The lineup feels stale, dealer experiences have been hit or miss, and the Frontier has some of the worst fuel economy in the class, with no hybrid or diesel option to soften the running costs. It's a solid truck competing in a class where the rivals have either more cachet, more efficiency, or both. That's not enough to win at a sticker pushing 40 grand, and the lots are reflecting it. Number 8, Ford F-250 Super Duty. At number 8, the Ford F-250 Super Duty, sitting at 158 days of market day supply. There are over 40,000 of these on lots right now, with an average selling price of about $73,500. Now here's the surprising part: this is a genuinely good, genuinely capable heavy-duty truck. So why is it piling up? Price and segment fatigue. When the average loaded Super Duty crosses into the 70s, you've priced out a huge chunk of the working buyers who actually need this much truck. Contractors and ranchers don't buy on emotion, they buy on math, and at these payments the math stops working for a lot of them. Heavy-duty trucks also tend to get held for a decade or more, so the replacement cycle is long, and the used market is flooded with perfectly good 3- and 4-year-old F-250 Super Duties for tens of thousands less. When a barely used one does almost everything the new one does, the new sticker becomes a tough sell. It's not a bad truck, it's just an expensive answer to a question fewer people are asking, especially when the same engineering improvements that made the new ones great also kept the older ones running strong well past the 200,000-mile mark. Number 7. Ram 1500. Number 7 is the Ram 1500 at 162 days of supply, and the volume here is staggering. Over 70,000 of them sitting unsold, the most raw inventory of any truck on this entire list, at an average price of about $60,000. The Ram 1500 has one of the nicest interiors in the segment, so this isn't about the product being junk, it's about Stellantis. The brand has been bleeding trust, and the engine drama is a big part of it. Ram killed the beloved Hemi V8, chased buyers off with the twin-turbo Hurricane Straight 6, then publicly walked it back and announced the Hemi was coming back, which tells you everything about how that gamble went. Meanwhile, dealers were sitting on massive stockpiles built up during the good years, and Ram's incentives haven't been aggressive enough to move them fast enough. Add in Stellantis' reliability reputation taking hit after hit, and you've got a truck that's genuinely pleasant to drive, but that buyers just don't trust to own long-term. 70,000 units doesn't lie. People are walking right past it, and dealers are sitting on financing costs they can't pass on fast enough. Number 6. Ford Maverick. At number 6, and this one's a shocker, the Ford Maverick at 162 days of supply, tied with the Ram 1500 on the calendar, but a very different story. Over 43,000 are sitting on lots, with an average price right around $33,900. Wait, the Maverick? The little truck everyone fell in love with? Here's what happened. When the Maverick launched, it was a unicorn, a sub-$20,000 hybrid pickup with a waitlist a mile long. People were paying over sticker just to get on the list. But that was the story. The reality in 2026 is that the average Maverick on the lot is no longer a cheap truck. Load one up and it creeps toward and past $35,000, which puts it uncomfortably close to a full-size truck on a deal. The cheap truck magic that created the hype is gone, and once the price stops being the headline, you're left with a small truck with a small bed competing in a crowded space. Demand cooled, production caught up, and now the same truck that had waitlists is stacking up on lots. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when you lose the one thing that made you special. Real quick, if you're getting value out of this market breakdown, do me a favor and smash that like button. It genuinely helps the channel get this data in front of more truck shoppers. Alright, let's keep rolling into the top 5. Number 5. Chevrolet Silverado EV. At number 5, the first of the electric trucks in real trouble, the Chevrolet Silverado EV at 199 days of supply. Only about 1,900 are on lots, but they're moving so slowly that it barely matters, and the average price is a steep $74,900. Here's the core issue with electric trucks in 2026. The people who buy trucks and the people who buy EVs barely overlap, and the ones who do overlap have gotten cold feet. Federal EV tax credits expired at the end of September 2025, and the moment that subsidy disappeared, demand for premium electric pickups fell off a cliff. The Silverado EV is impressive on paper. Big range numbers, huge power, a clever flexible bed, but $75,000 is an enormous ask for a vehicle whose target buyer is still nervous about charging on a long tow or a job site. Towing absolutely demolishes EV range, and truck people know it. So you've got a truck that's too expensive for the curious and too compromised for the committed. It's stuck in the middle and the lots are showing it. Even GM has started quietly reducing EV truck production targets, which tells you everything about how the demand picture has shifted in the last 12 months. Number 4. GMC Sierra EV. At number 4, the GMC Sierra EV at 225 days of supply. Only about 2,600 on lots, and at an eye-watering average price of $81,400, they're not going anywhere. This is the luxury electric truck problem in its purest form. The Sierra EV is the upscale cousin of the Silverado EV, draped in chrome and leather and packed with tech, and that pushes the price into territory where you're cross-shopping against genuinely premium machinery. For 80 grand, a buyer can have a loaded gas Sierra Denali, a luxury SUV, or a Rivian with a stronger EV truck identity. The Sierra EV doesn't have a clear answer for why it deserves that money. It's heavy, it's expensive, charging anxiety still scares off the work truck crowd, and the badge doesn't carry the EV credibility that Tesla or Rivian built from scratch. so it just sits there being expensive. A 225-day supply on a truck this pricey is the market politely declining the invitation. And with EV tax credits gone, even the rebate math that used to soften the sticker no longer works in the Sierra EV's favor. Number 3. Hyundai Santa Cruz. The Hyundai Santa Cruz at 229 days of supply and over 9,600 sitting at a much more approachable average price of $36,400. And here's the kicker that explains a lot of it. The Santa Cruz is widely reported to be on its way out, with Automotive News reporting Hyundai is ending production after a single generation to pivot to a larger mid-size truck. Hyundai's official line is that its plans are unchanged, but a nameplate under a discontinuation cloud is a tough sell, because nobody wants to buy into a truck that may be dead on arrival. But even before that, the Santa Cruz had problems. It was a compact lifestyle truck built on a crossover, and the dual-clutch transmission paired with the turbo engine drew real owner complaints about low-speed shuddering and hesitation. The bed is tiny, the back seat is cramped, and the whole premise, a car-based truck for people who want truck, looks without truck utility, is a narrow niche. Then the Ford Maverick showed up and ate its lunch by being cheaper and more practical, outselling the Santa Cruz roughly 6-1 in 2025. A truck under a discontinuation cloud with a transmission reputation and a more popular rival? That's a recipe for 229 days on the lot. Number 2. Jeep Gladiator. At number 2, the Jeep Gladiator at a staggering 233 days of market day supply, over 21,000 of them sitting at an average price of about $48,700. Let that sink in. More than 7 months of inventory on a mainstream Jeep. So what went wrong? The Gladiator is a truck trying to be a Jeep, and a Jeep trying to be a truck, and it doesn't fully nail either job. That solid front axle is fantastic for crawling over rocks, but makes the highway ride feel vague and wandering, which is exhausting on a daily commute. The bed is short, too short to be genuinely useful for hauling, so the truck people aren't satisfied. And the price is the real killer. Nearly 50 grand for a vehicle that's compromised as a truck, tiring as a commuter, and carries Stellantis' reliability question marks on top. Wrangler buyers who want open-air fun just buy a Wrangler for less. Truck buyers who need to work buy a real truck. The Gladiator is left appealing to a very specific person who wants both and will pay a premium for the privilege, and there just aren't enough of those people. Add in fuel economy that struggles to break the low 20s on the highway, and a back seat that's tight by mid-sized truck standards, and the value math gets even harder. 233 days proves it. Number 1. Ford F-150 Lightning. And finally, at number 1, the slowest selling truck in all of America, the Ford F-150 Lightning at a brutal 250 days of market day supply. There are about 3,900 sitting on lots, and over a 45-day stretch, only around 700 of them sold. The average price? About $67,600. 250 days. That's 8 months to clear the inventory, and it's the single biggest disaster in the truck market right now. Here's why it's so damning. The F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in America, period, the most trusted nameplate in the business, and even Ford couldn't make the electric version stick. The Lightning launched to enormous hype, sold out instantly, and then reality set in. Towing absolutely guts the range, sometimes cutting it in half, which is catastrophic for the exact thing trucks exist to do. The price ballooned far past the original promise, and the people who buy F-150s, contractors, tradespeople, rural drivers, are the demographic least served by a charging network and most punished by range anxiety on a long haul. The death blow came in December 2025 when Ford officially confirmed the end of the current all-electric Lightning, with the truck set to return as an extended-range plug-in hybrid for the next generation. The moment buyers heard the current model was being discontinued, the remaining inventory became radioactive, because nobody wants to sink $67,000 into a truck the manufacturer is already walking away from. The most popular truck brand in America, building the slowest-selling truck in America. That's how badly the EV truck bet missed. So there you have it. 10 brand new trucks rotting on dealer lots in 2026. And the common thread? Electric trucks that priced themselves out of their own market once the federal tax credit disappeared, Stellantis brands hemorrhaging buyer trust, and a mid-size segment so completely dominated by the Toyota Tacoma that everyone else is fighting for scraps. If you're in the market, every single one of these is a negotiation goldmine right now, so don't pay a dime over what the data says. What do you think? Would you buy any of these at the right discount? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and your take helps shape the next video. And if this breakdown was useful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.